Kalpi? What have you been doing?
Sir, actually, I would like to thank you for everything. I completed my ASCA level 1 from these days. I'm working with the Rajasthan Cricket Association state team as a strength and conditioning coach, and I also completed my ASCA level 1. And also I completed my BCCI level 1, and now I'm eligible for level B. Sir, I write down some question. It's a great opportunity to catch up with you. So the first one is how the technology changing the world of cricket in you?
Well, I think it's changing. It's changing the world, obviously, but sport broadly and cricket obviously is, like everyone else, looking at ways of measuring things better so that we can better understand where improvement can take place. And obviously str8bat technology has been excellent in that regard, because there's been nothing in batting up until this day, up until str8bat, that could really help measure demonstratively what was going on with a batsman. Bowling has had the TrackMan technology, which has helped bowling coaches greatly. I think from a strength and conditioning point of view, GPS has been a big improvement. All of a sudden, the numbers are there, the data is there, so you can very quickly see whether a player is improving or not improving, or which parts of their fitness maybe needs some improvement. So the str8bat technology, I think, is a game changer for batting coaching, because it creates the opportunity for a conversation. Up until now, we've had video, but I could take you and we could look at the video and I could tell you what I'm seeing, but you could deny it, because you could say, no, I'm seeing something else, or that's not happening. You can even deny that it's actually even taking place. Whereas with the str8bat technology, the data is there, the 3D images are there. It is inarguable, and I think what most players are finding, and coaches that are using the technology, is that they all of a sudden they're talking apples and comparing apples with apples. It's not just a matter of my opinion versus your opinion. This is data that's sitting there and tells us, we can see the bat path, we can see the swing speed, we can see the contact speed. And players that I've been involved with and coaches that I've been involved with who've used the technology have seen almost instantaneous improvement. Once they understand what's happening, a small correction can make a big difference. And obviously with swings, it's one thing to have a swing speed, but if the difference between the swing speed and the impact speed is too great, then you're losing most of the benefit of that swing speed. And players can see that rather than taking a big arc from point all the way around, if they take the bat back, say, between sort of round first or second slip, again, the impact on the face of the bat is more consistent. The result is more consistent. So we're getting data that all of a sudden people can take note of and get immediate improvement. So I think this is the turning point for batting coaching, and we're going to see more of this. There'll be no doubt str8bat will continue to develop their product, but there'll be others out there. There are others out there who are working on, if not similar technology that's going to try and get a similar result. And I think that competition will be good. I think even Gagan would agree that it's good for str8bat that there are others out there, because that means that this area is getting some attention, and I think that's only a good thing. It will change the way we coach batting. It will change the way we look at batting. I think just from a viewer point of view, watching the cricket, this technology eventually is going to be embedded in the bat itself. I can see today when it's connected to the telecast of cricket, and the commentators will be showing the difference and showing the data. And very quickly a player can see that, when I was doing this, things were working well, but all of a sudden I've changed my angle by 5 degrees. I've lost some bat speed. The gap between the bat speed and the impact speed is much greater. So it really is data that we can take notice of. So I can see big changes coming and quite quickly.
In that part of the question, lots of the player always talk about the setup and batting stance, and when they are struggling with his performance, so he just struggling with his setup and bat swing and many more things. So what you prefer for the best one?
Well, I think everybody's going to be a little bit different. Comfort is one thing, but there are some positions that are more efficient than others. We're talking about science here. We're susceptible as human beings. Firstly, we're a lever system. So we've got to comply with the laws of levers. We've got to comply with the laws of gravity. We are moving. So there are certain places I think that you can stand that will be more efficient than others. Okay. There's no doubt you can make anything work, but I think what the technology will tell us is that some things are less efficient than others. So if you want to be a good player, it's probably best not to stand like that. It might be better to have a more comfortable stance that allows you to move more easily, because we're reacting to what the bowler has created.
Yes.
And what footwork is really is shifting from one position to a more optimal position for the delivery that's been bowled. Now, the more able you are to move, the more options you will have in response to what the bowler has bowled. So I think the technology is going to show us very quickly that there are probably more than one ideal position, but it will give us a very good idea very quickly that there's probably a limited number of starting positions that are ideal. And again, it opens the conversation up between the coach and the batsman to say, look, you have a choice. You can keep doing this, but you're not going to be as efficient. You're going to have to work a lot harder for your runs, and you're more likely to make mistakes because you can't move easily from one position to another. So I think, in the old days, the bat tapping stance was a very good stance because it brought the batsman onto the balls of their feet. For us to move, we have to be able to use the ground forces to be able to move from. A flat foot is not a good position from which to access those ground forces to change position. So we need to get onto the balls of the feet. So you may as well start on the balls of the feet. The bat tapping stance, with the bat tapping on the ground, was ideal for that. It also brought the head over towards off stump. So you had a very good idea and a good view of where your off stump was, because if it was in line with your head, it was in line with the off stump. If you're standing too upright, then the weight is going to be forced more onto the heels of the feet. It's going to be much harder to move. And unless you're standing on off stump, your head's not going to be anywhere near off stump. So I think even if the player is not tapping the bat on the ground, I think it's very important to get some movement in the arms, because that's an important part of keeping the tension out of the system so that you don't get too tense in the hands and the arms. And it also helps the batsman to get into rhythm with the bowler. Each bowler has a different rhythm, has their own rhythm. I mean, your rhythm as a leg spinner was very different from Shane Warne's rhythm. So as a batsman, I need to get into rhythm with you as quickly as possible. So the bat tapping is an important part of, that's a subconscious thing that's happening to help you get into rhythm with the bowler. So there are a few things that I think need to be understood in the setup for it to be as efficient as possible.
So you have world record for the most catches in test match. So, what is your principle and how you motivate yourself on the field actually?
Yeah, look, I think it's got to come from within. You know, our father taught us early on that, you know, fielding was a very important part of the game of cricket. No matter how successful you might be as a batsman or even as a bowler, you're going to spend more time fielding than you will batting or bowling. So if you want to enjoy the game of cricket, then you have to enjoy fielding. So we understood that from an early age. I spent a lot of time practicing catching. I didn't realize I was practicing catching. You know, I was just having fun, either with my brothers or on my own, throwing the ball against different surfaces and, you know, just catching, having competitions with myself more than anything else to see how many catches I could take in a row. I didn't realize just, you know, how much I was doing that was going to help me later on in life. But you know, I think unless somebody enjoys fielding, it's unlikely that they will be a good fielder. So I think you need to make fielding practice as interesting as possible, have as much variety as possible. But I can promise you the best fielders, particularly the best catchers, have been doing a lot of catching from an early age. And you know, they've enjoyed doing it. So look for the ones who enjoy fielding, encourage the others to try and look at it differently and see the importance of it, because, you know, maybe in 20 over cricket, to a lesser degree in 50 over cricket, it's about outfielding, but in red ball cricket, it's about catching. You can misfield a few balls in a test match and it's not going to make a big difference, but you drop catches and it can cost you matches. But even in the short forms, you know, dropping catches can be critical. You drop a good player and they get a second innings, it makes a big difference. So I think I've always believed that catching is really, really important.
Really, thank you so much. It was fantastic, Greg.
Thank you, str8bat, really.
No, well done to you for getting on and winning the first prize. So it's so good to see you again, and nice to talk to you via WhatsApp from time to time. So please, if you've got some more questions there, send them through str8bat, and I'll be happy to try and give you as good as I can get.